It's Wednesday, August 24. In the headlines, Jamaicans will have to pay more for electricity. Regionally, Gaston Brown has called out the United States for provocation regarding Taiwan. Internationally, Mexico is calling on international experts to help rescue 10 coal miners. And in sports, women excited as the 60 tournament starts. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I am Simone Absalom Gale. JPS customers will see an increase in their light bills come September. This after an assessment was done by the Office of Utilities Regulation (OUR) of the power company's 2022 annual review and extraordinary rate review application. This increase will represent a 0.7% increase for residential customers, while commercial operators could see up to 1.2%. In a media release Tuesday afternoon, the OUR noted that the 2022 JPS annual review is in keeping with the provisions of the Electricity License 2016, which allows for the realignment of the company's revenue targets each year against inflation and exchange rate movements, as well as its performance in the previous year. The Jamaica Public Service had applied for an increase of 3.3% for residential customers and 0.9% to 2.1% for commercial customers. ARC Properties Limited has answered the call to partner with the government for the contribution of housing units to the new social housing program. The company signed a memorandum of understanding with the government on Tuesday. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says that the government will be increasing the number of houses made available to Jamaicans under the new social housing program, and public-private partnership is one way in which this will be done. Speaking at the virtual event, Mr. Holness reiterated what the program is about.
Social housing is the provision of shelter to qualified beneficiaries as part of a social safety net mechanism to ensure that a minimum standard of shelter is guaranteed in the society. So you could consider this part of our social safety net.
The Prime Minister had said that solutions coming out of a low-cost housing design competition will now be utilized to deliver units faster and at an affordable cost. And he called on the private sector to partner with the government to build the houses.
I'm almost overcome with emotion to see the call being answered. So, Ashley, again, let me say thanks to you.
Managing Director of ARC Properties Limited, Ashley Ann Horn, says the move shows her company's commitment to the development of the country.
Every company on this island has been granted a license to operate by society. And in return, we not only have a duty to conduct ourselves in a manner that upholds the tenets of ethics and morality, but we also have a patriotic duty to the country to ensure that purpose and community upliftment are always at the heart of our business operations.
So far, the government has built 89 units. The government is aiming to have 365 units completed this year. The government is aiming long-term to construct 10,000 units under the program. The Toll Authority is encouraging travelers to report any anomalies observed or experienced in their use of the toll road network. This can be done by engaging the authority via its social media pages or by making formal reports to Toll Authority at mtw.gov.jm. The authority, which is an agency of the Ministry of Transport and Mining, is tasked with regulating the operations and maintenance of the toll roads and other facilities as deemed necessary on or adjacent to the toll road network. For the first quarter of the financial year 2022-2023, the authority inspected 114 kilometers of roadway along the nation's toll roads. During the inspections, various issues were identified, such as damage and theft of perimeter fencing, faded road marks, damaged studs, and poor visibility of traffic signs. Members of the public are invited to participate in activities for the Heart Foundation of Jamaica's Cardiopulmonary Resuscitation Week, CPR Week. It's being celebrated from August 22 to August 28 under the theme, Let's Push Start the Heart, Give CPR. The HFJ's Director of Emergency Cardiac Care, Dr. Hugh Wong, shared details of the main activities while speaking during a JIS think tank.
Can you imagine being able to save a life and not having gone to medical school or nursing school? Just a simple skill, all right? It takes, well, the course for CPR is 3 hours. You can actually learn CPR in an hour, which simply means you learn where to position your hands, you learn to recognize responsiveness, where to place your hands, how far you compress, how fast you compress, when to release. We also teach that you do not have to do mouth-to-mouth. That's old science. You know, we do mouth-to-mouth if it's a close relative or somebody you trust. But there are other techniques, especially in the COVID era, where you're encouraged to do chest compressions on CPR. That gives you that 4-minute window to allow advanced care to come, or somebody who's more experienced, or somebody who comes with a device that can separate the breaths from the rescuer.
Dr. Wong explained that while the Emergency Cardiac Care in Special Population Symposium is geared towards medical and paramedical personnel, it is also open to the public.
It is open to all. However, based on the mandate of the speakers and so on, I think it will be projected to doctors, nurses, EMTs, allied medical professionals, and medical students. That is not to say that interested laypersons cannot attend. Oh. Sometimes our medical professionals, although they need information as well. Because in their regular workplace, the information, they're not given this information on a daily basis. So, you know, so we always think that continuous medical education is the way to go, regardless of how you get it.
The most valuable benefit that can be gained from CPR training in the workplace or anywhere is the fact that precious lives can be saved. For example, during cardiac arrest, the heart cannot pump blood to the rest of the body, including the brain and lungs. Death can happen in minutes without treatment. CPR uses chest compressions to mimic how the heart pumps. These compressions help keep blood flowing throughout the body. Editor-in-Chief at the Jamaica Gleaner, Kamar Jordan, has resigned. Ms. Jordan, who tendered her resignation on Tuesday, will remain in the post until October 18.
Just to confirm that, yes, I have resigned from the post as editor-in-chief at the Gleaner. I have been presented with another opportunity, another challenge that allows me to bring together my experience not only in print but also in television and in terms of digital. And it is exciting, it's unfolding. I'm really grateful for the experience at the Gleaner of the last 3 years. 3 years have gone already. We've gone through a number of things, coped with COVID and restructured the newsroom and adjusted processes, etc. And it really is just another opportunity in terms of serving the region, and I'm really excited about that prospect.
It has been confirmed that Ms. Jordan will be heading to Trinidad to take up the post of managing editor of the Guardian Media Limited. In her new role, Ms. Jordan will have oversight of news in print, TV, and radio. This will not be the first time the Barbadian-born regional journalist has taken up such a role. Back in 2005, she was the Director of News and Current Affairs at the Caribbean Media Corporation. Ms. Jordan has spent over 20 years in media, working across the Caribbean, rising from the ranks of rookie journalist, radio and TV producer, print editor, presenter, newsroom manager, and CEO. Kamar is currently the second female editor-in-chief at the Jamaica Gleaner in its 187 years of existence. The appointment as managing editor will take effect on November 1, as current ME Rosemary Sant will proceed on retirement. In the business report, Foshwitz calls for new building codes. We have the story plus the usual market updates from Danita Rodney.
Cecil Foster, Managing Director of Fosterich Company Limited, is calling for the building codes change to incorporate renewables as the company signs a new solar deal. The new policy would require new housing developments to have integrated renewable energy solutions to help reduce Jamaica's fossil fuel demand while generating clean energy. The renewed push comes as oil and gas prices have soared in 2022, pushing Jamaica's fuel bill up 48% for the first 4 months of the year to more than $705 million. This is according to data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. For your market updates, in foreign exchange trading for Tuesday, August 23, the US dollar sold for an average of $151.56. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $117.24. The pound sterling traded for $179.13, and the euro sold for an average of $153.58. The following reflects the movement of the JSE indices in Tuesday's trading session. The JSE index advanced by 619 points to close at over 300,000 units. The junior market index declined by 3 points to close at over 4,000 units. The combined market index advanced by 544 points to close at over 300,000 units. And the All-Jamaican Composite Index declined by 2,541 points to close at over 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 105 stocks, of which 36 advanced, 51 declined, and 18 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Barita Investments Limited, and Blue Power Group Limited. Declining were 1834 Investments Limited, Access Financial Services Limited, and Berger Paints Jamaica Limited. 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Verbal Preference, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and the Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited traded firm. The following companies represent the overall volume leaders: Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with over 3 million units, Jamaican Teas Limited with over 2 million units, and Dollar Financial Services Limited with over 1 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Clico Investment Fund traded over 90,000 shares. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Government of Barbados Bond Series B was the volume leader with over 100,000 shares, followed by Epic Caribbean Property Fund, Value Fund, and Barbados Farms Limited, which traded over 4,000 shares and 571 shares respectively. In regional business, in Trinidad and Tobago, Flow Business has partnered with the Association of Female Executives of Trinidad and Tobago to support small and medium businesses.
At a recent event, the company showcased a suite of digital tools to make it easier for owners to take their business online. Simon Martin Selgan, Vice President of Flow, says it is especially important to support local businesses return to full operation in the shortest possible time, following the many challenges they faced with the pandemic.
In market data for oil, Brent oil climbed above $100 a barrel after Saudi Arabia suggested cutting output in response to poor liquidity in the crude futures market and fears about a global economic downturn. Brent crude traded up $1.07 at $101.29 a barrel, and West Texas Intermediate was up 99 cents at $94.73 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, we start with Antigua and Barbuda. Prime Minister Gaston Brown has called out the United States for provocation regarding Taiwan, emphasizing the need for both countries to de-escalate tensions. He says the island would be hard hit if there were to be an issue.
The Prime Minister clearly recognized that his comments will generate responses well beyond this country's shores and therefore sought to put his perspectives into context. He said Antigua and Barbuda tries not to get involved in external issues and tries to be a friend of all. He also said he's not choosing sides between the United States and China regarding tensions in Taiwan. He was making reference to the recent visit of U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to the island, which China sees as part of its territory.
Our role here is not to condemn either China or the United States, but to call for peace and for the United States to bring an end to these provocations. Now, we do understand that people have the right to travel wherever they wish, but if certain actions going to provoke and worsen the Chinese Taiwan relationship, then I don't know that now is the appropriate time to be leading that type of or encouraging that type of provocation. So I hope that those in the United States who obviously will hear about these comments will understand the concern of Antigua and Barbuda, and that they will realign their position to ensure that there's global peace and solidarity.
And the Prime Minister made it clear what he thinks of recent actions by the U.S. regarding Taiwan.
I'll state here categorically that the position in which the United States is literally provoking China is totally unacceptable. It is well known that Taiwan is a breakaway province of China. So this is not a situation in which Taiwan has been an independent country and China is trying to colonize them. It's just like Antigua and Barbuda and the Barbudans deciding that they want to be independent and break away from Antigua and Barbuda. The government of Antigua and Barbuda will have every right to ensure that Barbuda remains a part of Antigua and Barbuda.
Grenada's new parliament opens on August 31, 9 weeks after Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell led his National Democratic Congress to victory at the polls. An official statement announcing the start of the 11th Parliament said the main activities for the first session will be the swearing in of each of the 15 parliamentarians who were victorious at the polls, the nomination and election of a new Speaker and Deputy Speaker, and appointments to the various committees including the Public Accounts Committee, the Privilege Committee and the Standing Orders Committee. The new senators are also expected to be sworn in next Wednesday. Staying in Grenada, following the Director of Public Prosecution's decision to discontinue the charges against Anderson and Kidon Peters, the lawyer representing the Harbour Master is calling for the intervention of Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell.
I'm calling on the Prime Minister, who's a lawyer. He knows these things, to investigate the matter, have a separate investigation of the matter. The DPP must be held accountable for what he's done.
Attorney-at-Law Cajetan Hood, the lawyer representing the Harbour Master crew in the incident involving the Peters brothers, as he called upon Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell to investigate the action taken by the Director of Public Prosecution, Christopher Nelson, on Monday, when the DPP discontinued criminal charges filed against the brothers. Credibility and reliability are at the center of reasons why the Director of Public Prosecution has discontinued charges against Anderson and Kidon Peters. Hood accused the DPP of misbehavior and handling the situation with bias.
In my humble view, it is improper for the Director of Public Prosecutions to pull out 3 or 4 persons who were in a fight and charge them, refuse to charge the other persons who started the fight. And furthermore, when these 4 persons who accepted their guilt came to court and said, yes, we did that, we accept our guilt, they are punished. When these persons seek justice and say, well, the other persons who were in the fight and did me so and so and so, these persons are now charged. The DPP turns around and prevents these other persons who have been hurt and damaged from getting justice. I say emphatically, it's an abuse of the powers of the DPP.
In international news, frustration is growing with the slow pace of rescue efforts as miners have been stuck in the mine for nearly 3 weeks since the tunnel wall collapsed. Now the Mexican government is calling on international experts to help rescue 10 coal miners who are trapped on the ground.
The Pinabete coal mine in Coahuila, Mexico. Emergency crews have been working day and night to free 10 miners who have been trapped underground since August 3rd.
This is all going by too slowly. It's been too many days.
Cynthia Ruiz's husband, Sergio, is among the missing miners. She tells us her grandfather died in a mining accident long ago, and later her father was trapped in a coal mine for 7 days before being rescued. She says the last thing she ever expected was to be going through the same experience once again.
I understand what my daughters are feeling, not knowing if your father is okay or not, or how will he get out. I understand more than you can imagine. That's why I say to God, if you gave me my father back, let my daughters have their father back too.
There's been no contact with the miners since August 3rd. But Plutarco Ruiz, Cynthia's father, says even though it's been almost 3 weeks since his son-in-law became trapped in the mine, hope is not yet lost.
There is always hope, always. When I was trapped in the mine, people said I was dead. It was in the newspapers, but here I am. Miracles can happen.
Coahuila is Mexico's coal mining capital, but safety standards for miners here are practically non-existent. Accidents involving gas explosions, collapses, and flooding, like the one that occurred in the Pinabete mine, are not uncommon.
Rescuers are continuing to extract water from the flooded mine, using more than a dozen pumps like this one, working 24 hours a day. Authorities say that bringing the water level down is the only way they'll be able to reach the 10 men trapped more than 60 meters underground.
Families of the trapped miners say what they want most is for the men to be returned to the surface. But many here also warn that without improving working conditions for coal miners, it's only a matter of time before an accident like this one happens again.
In sports, an inexperienced Jamaica side tumbled to a 3-0 defeat against Morocco in a 14 tournament on Tuesday after UK-based forward Giovanni Brown, who had been expected to make his debut for the Reggae Boys, withdrew from the squad. It was not immediately known what led to the withdrawal of 27-year-old Brown, who ended up on the losing side later in the day as Exeter City lost at Gillingham on penalties in the second round of the English League Cup. Ahmad Hamoudan gave the Moroccans an interval lead with a 33rd minute goal. Mohamed Nari doubled the advantage from the spot on 74 minutes before Rida Slim added a third in the 80th minute. The Barbados Royals, Guyana Amazon Warriors, and the Trinidad Knight Riders are going into the Women's Sky 60 today, Wednesday, August 24, with teams featuring international stars they hope will help them win the inaugural tournament. The 7 matches in the fast-paced 60-ball contest will be all played at Warner Park in St. Kitts, with the final set for August 28. Stephanie Taylor will lead an Amazon Warriors squad, while Deandra Doughton will head up the TKRs and Hayley Matthews, Barbados Royals. Here are some of the innovations in this tournament.
Having 6 wickets per innings. That's it. You lose 6 wickets, your innings is over. That is surely going to cause not only team selection issues, but it's going to add pressure to those top order batters. There are only 60 balls an innings. But what I think is most remarkable is that they're bowling them in blocks of 5 overs from one end and 5 from the other. 30 balls all from one end before an end change. The 60 is all about fast-paced cricket, with slow bowling being punished by having a fielder removed. If teams have used up their time before the last over, that's when they have to choose a player to leave the field. Let's move on to the 60 innovations that directly impact the batters. Now, starting with the fact that if they hit 2 sixes in the first 2 overs, they will unlock a 3rd power play over, which they can choose to play later in the innings. Let's go to the last one. Now, something that's really exciting for fans is that they're going to be able to directly influence the game. Now, you vote to choose when a mystery free hit is awarded in each innings. So when it's time, the umpire will signal a free hit, purely decided upon the fan vote randomly from before.
Sunil Narayan and the Oval Invincibles lost by 10 runs to the Birmingham Phoenix in the men's 100 in England on Tuesday. Opting to bat first, the Phoenix posted 166 for 6 of their 100 balls. Liam Livingstone top scored with 45 and captain Moeen Ali 42. Narayan took 2 for 21. In reply, the Invincibles came up short on 158 for 8. Kyle Mayers hit 105 to put the West Indies in a competitive position in their 3rd and decisive one-day international against New Zealand. But in the end, the world's top-ranked team prevailed.
Hometown batter Kyle Mayers always wanted to score a century at Kensington Oval, and it came versus New Zealand, albeit in a losing effort.
My third game playing here at the Oval for West Indies, and it was a wonderful feeling. As you said, not the result, but I thought the guys put up a good effort. You know, it's always tough to defend in these conditions, or they drew on the surface and the ball being wet. But it was a good contest between us and New Zealand for the series.
Myers appreciated Captain Nicholas Pooran's boundary-fill 91 to help propel the team over 300.
Yeah, amazing knock. One of those innings that batsmen dream of. You know, myself, I would love to come on and stroke the ball like that from ball one. You know, to get 100 in 50 balls in ODI would be special. You know, just unfortunately didn't get across the lane, but a superb knock to take us to 300. Unfortunately, it's in vain. Both knocks were in vain, but good work still.
The opening batter also shared his thoughts on where the series was lost.
I thought we had a good challenge in the second game. I thought restricting New Zealand to 212 or however the score was, it was just below 220. I thought we missed that opportunity to close out the series on that game. The other games were decent. You know, we won the first game, and then this game came down to the wire. So I thought we missed the plot, not having a good batting performance on the second game to close out the series.
Mayers was eager to point out that the team is in a critical stage of transition.
I think we're building slowly, not where we want to be, you know, at the moment, coming off some defeats in the summer. There's a new team, new captain, guys in new roles, myself, opening for the first time in ODI cricket, and some other guys that coming in for the first time, like Yannick and Sinky today, you know. I think we're finding ways to get better, especially as a batting group. We've been doing well over the summer. We had some good games with the bat, and then obviously some poor ones. But you know, as a team that's building and a team that's young and looking to go forward, I think those things we learn from and try to get better. I think there's room for improvement, a lot of improvement. We are nowhere close to where we want to be.
And that's the news on PBCJ. Thanks so much for watching.